Good morning, everyone. I'm Shotade Olusegun. In today's video, we're going to talk about the foundation of wealth. Yes, of course, you heard me right. We're going to talk about the foundation of wealth creation. Okay, I know that many of you might be wondering that on what ground am I entitled to actually discuss this with you? You might even ask that you might even ask if I'm a billionaire. You understand? Because basically, in this video, I'm going to reveal the secret of how billionaires make their wealth. You understand? And I'm going to show you something so profound based on how it has been discovered in the universe. Don't forget that by God's grace, I've developed a formula of everything that we use to unify quantum mechanics to classical mechanics. So based on the discovery, which is the novel discovery, I'm going to share with you the secret of wealth creation. So now the topic is what we have here. The foundation of wealth creation as designed by universe. Well, I want to let you know that universe is being structured in a way that enforces conformity onto every human being in the universe. In fact, onto everything in the universe. It is this conformity that we need to break free from for us to be outstanding and for us to make the needed wealth that we need to make. And it is for that reason that we're going to explore the entitle of the universe and then see how universe is being structured. Now, what I need you to know is that billionaires, or rather, let me ask you this question. What do you think that billionaires purchase to acquire wealth? What do you think is the most valuable thing that billionaires all over the world usually purchase in order to acquire the wealth that they have? Do you know it? Okay, if you don't know it, I'm going to tell you straight up that what they purchase is time. Time is the most valuable thing in the universe. In fact, time is the intelligent virtue of the universe for creativity. If you do not operate at the frequency of time, if you do not operate at the speed of time, you might not be able to get the wealth that you need to get. And I'm going to share with you. Why do you think billionaires employ people to work for them in order to buy time? They employ people because they understand the power of synergy. And for you to have a conglomerate, you cannot have that if you do not have enough time to yourself. And that is why you see them flying from one business to other all over the world. Time is what you need to purchase. And I'm going to share one secret with you. There is one thing we have at the foundation of the wealth creation. And what we have is something that we must not spend. And that thing is energy. That energy is not what you need to spend. Because universe itself manufactures its own currency. And the manufactured currency of universe is mass worth. We're going to dive deep into this. This is a top secret that you have never heard of. No wealth guru has ever taught you this. I can bet that with you. So now, let's dive into it. First of all, I want you to see this diagram. Just for you to have idea of what we're going to share today. The idea is that when you look at this diagram, it is in form of inverted triangle. This narrow spot upward, this is the foundation phase. This is the build-up phase, and this place is the attainment phase. We're going to go deep into this thing for you to get the reality of wealth creation. So now, what I want you to know is that this foundation, if you look at what I have here, you see that you have tiny time to huge energy. You must not spend the energy that you have here. That is why you see that at the foundation, it is difficult for one to accumulate wealth because you have tiny time. So you have to work hard, and if you make any mistake here, if you spend the energy, which is you work for time, you work for money, then you have made the biggest mistake. Now, what we have under this foundation is work many times and get paid once. This is where the majority of people fall. People that work for salary, they fall here. But when you get to this phase where you have equal time to equal energy, there you have equal work to equal payment. Now, the mistake that many people make here is that they buy unnecessary things at this stage, and as a result of that, they kill their goal to make huge wealth. Now, the topmost is where you have huge time to tiny energy, and there you see that you work once and get paid many times. So we're going to actually explore all these things, and we're going to see how we can acquire wealth. Now, my own definition of wealth is what we have up here. Wealth is when you have massive returns of accumulation to low energy usage. That is when you are wealthy. You need to acquire wealth by acquiring time. Time is so essential. Now, another thing I want you all to know is that for you to be rich, for you to be wealthy, you need to be wise. And even Bible supports this. And we're going to look at what Bible says about being wise and being rich. So for you to be rich, you need to be wise. And so let's look at what Bible says. Here we have Proverbs chapter 14 verse 24. This Bible verse says, the crown of the wise is their riches. The crown of the wise is their riches. That means that one of the evidences that people will use to gauge you as a wealthy person is for you to be wise. So now, if you are rich, it means you are wise. Because for you to canvas people to work for you and believe in the goal that you have to generate the wealth that you have is something that you need wisdom for. And that is why you need to be wise. So I give kudos to all the creative people in the world, the likes of artists, like the likes of Wizkid, Davido, the likes of the gospel singers, the likes of Chris Brown, the likes of all of them. I give kudos to them, the likes of Tiwa Savage. The reason I'm giving kudos to them, and even the comedians, I give kudos to them because they are wise. They are adding values. When you do something that gives value to people, people will make sure that they patronize you. I can give you an instance. I once had a bump on my cheek. So when I eventually got where I could treat it, I had to pay even though I did not have the money as at that time. And so now you can see my cheek is smooth now. So when you solve problem and you add value to people, people will patronize you even if they don't have that money. So these people, they are wise, but there is something that you need to know when you are making wealth, because the entitle of whatever it is that you are in this universe is dependent on Almighty God. What I'm saying, by the time we dive deep into the scientific, nature of this today's topic, you will see that there is signature of Almighty God in the universe. So even for you to be wise, it's not something you can get at your disposal. It comes from the above. So you need to make sure that you maintain the rate at which you are making the money in such a way that it gives glory to Almighty God. But the moment you deviate from that, then you know you are in another realm entirely. But the fact still remains that you are rich for you to have acquired the wealth. But don't forget that there is a slim boundary between wealth to the glory of God, then wealth to the glory of devil. That you need to put at the back of your mind. So now I want to show you the scientific discovery that led to what I'm to discuss with you today. Like I said the other time, I said I have, by God's grace, I have developed a formula of everything, and it is that formula that we use to unify quantum mechanics to classical mechanics. By using that formula, then I was able to realize that the progression of energy right from the singularity point to the point where the space is so gigantic to allow for mass convergence is from entropy, or rather let me say yes, because it's at the singularity is where you have high energy, then the spacious spot is where you have low energy. So you need to move from the level of working hard, which is using your energy. And I told you that you should not spend energy, because energy is not the currency that is being spent in the universe. You need to manufacture the currency that you will spend, which is you need to generate mass worth. And for you to do that, you need to actually break free from the conformity. Because the reason people keep on working for money till they grow old and die is for the fact that they cannot pay the sacrifice. Because by the time you decide to do things that will generate huge returns in the future, you might not even be paid for those things. It might just be something that you will build up and form a system that will create the needed time for you. And if you can do that right from the foundation, you will surely build the wealth that you need to build. And many people cannot pay this sacrifice. That is why you see them, they work for money. So the payment they get will never be commensurated with the worth of the work they render. Do you understand? So another thing you need to have at the back of your mind is that you can never be richer than the person that is paying you. That is why you don't have to settle for a job that you will be collecting salary. For you to be rich, you need to have your own company. And you must be able to configure the system in such a way that even when you are not there, the business will still be running. Those are just the little secrets. So now let's dive into the scientific discovery that led to this, and then go to the chart, to that diagram. So now, this is time energy wave model. Now, You see the triangle that we have here. That triangle is what I have drawn in that diagram of foundation of wealth creation. It is this particular triangle. Now, here we have time traveling inversely to energy. That is the relationship between time and energy. So now, by having such expansion, we have this triangle, and we have that triangle as a result of the constancy of light speed, because that constancy must be maintained for us to have the triangle. So now that we have the triangle, there is the formula that I call formula of everything is this: the T, the M equals to capital UM plus 4M. This is the formula of everything. By the time you supply the mass worth of this electron in the place of this M and this M, it will generate the classical counterpart, which is what we have here. Now, this formula is so powerful that it fits back on itself. When you put this result, the classical result, in the place of this M and this M, then you can get back to the quantum realm to reconfirm this electron's mass. And with that, we have unified quantum mechanics to classical mechanics. But now, the main thing is this. The other time I said the formula is so powerful that it fits back on itself. What I meant by that is that you can use an input to generate an output, and as well you can use the output generated as inputs to generate further output. That is what that meant. Now, the thing is, if you move from the quantum realm to classical realm to have this mass worth, if you're now traversing from the classical realm to quantum realm the second time, you can never get this actual mass worth of electron again, because you have been transcended into the collapsing formation of the universe. And as a result of that, there is going to be radiation, and that will result to decay of the mass worth. So you have reduction in this value. So when you traverse the universe the second time, instead of getting 9.109 times 10 raised power minus 31 kilogram, you get 9.109 times 10 raised power minus 32 rather kilogram. And that shows the decaying nature that we have in the black hole. Now, this portion can be likened to black hole, and that is the gravitational phase in the universe. Why this portion is the expansion phase, and it can be likened to the past. So you see that we have the past, the future, the present. So the present is where you have the reality of the universe, and that is where this formula of everything is operational. And then what I have discovered using this formula of everything is that the mass worth of electron is being used in this system, and so we know that electromagnetic field, because at the quantum level we have electromagnetic field, at classical level we have gravitational field. So electromagnetic field decays mass worth in order to support the mass accumulation formation at classical realm. You understand? So that is the system of the universe. So now what we have here is now being interpreted as positron, which is the antimatter of electron, because what we have here is more or less like C of infinity. And the moment time breaks this suspension that we have here, we have arbitrary suspension here, we have arbitrary suspension here. The moment time breaks this suspension, then the electron mass worth of infinity will be converted to positron. Now, when you supply this wave amplitude, because this wave amplitude, when you get to classical realm, it will suspend the weak conveying force. This 4M is weak conveying force, while UM is strong conveying force. So the strong conveying force will be suspended to weak conveying force by this wave amplitude. But at the quantum level, we have this. When you supply this quantum mass, this quantum wave amplitude in the formula, we're going to get this tiny mass worth, and that could be likened to the non-zero energy state that we have in the vacuum. And you can see the arbitrary suspension is being justified. Well, this is not a video to explain the full worth of this formula, so I'm just going to stop right there. You have gotten the idea. The idea is just to let you know how we come about the triangle, the inverted triangle that we have in this particular diagram. So now, this is the diagram. Now, this diagram, there are some key information that I need you to know. And the key information, the first one is this. The first one says, time is the virtue through which all is enforced into the reality of occurrence. Proper management of time in relation to energy is a key asset. That is number one asset that you need to know. Time is the most valuable thing in the universe. Mass worth is valuable, but time is so valuable. So now, the second one says, time is the treasure's repository of the universe. Acquisition of more time to energy breeds the most valuable worth of the universe. I think it's one of the most valuable, which is the mass worth. The mass worth is the currency that we use in the universe. So now, let's get back to that time energy wave model. I want to show you something. Talking about currency that the universe is spending. Now, see this as the entirety of the universe, but basically, this is just an epitome of entirety of the universe based on the mass worth of electron. So now, for you to know that mass worth is what is being spent as currency in the universe, you can see that here we're going to have energy density. Energy density will make us to have this momentum of expansion. And then here we have mass worth of positron. The moment that positron is injected into this system, we have another momentum into the singularity of the black hole. Now you can see that currency is what is being exchanged for momentum in the universe. So now, here we have mass worth is the fueling virtue of universe as currency to be spent. And then the fourth one is time is the intelligent virtue of the universe for creativity. Yes, where in one of my videos I discussed how time was able to be the number one in the hierarchical order of the universe by outsmarting energy that has the nature of understanding. So you can check out the video to know more about that. Mass worth is the knowledge instantiation of the universe. When you have mass worth, that is when the universe can discern the position of things. And when you know, for instance, when you know your position has been in this foundation phase, and you know the relative position, which is this attainment phase, then you can actually work that out. If you don't know your position in the universe, you can't know where you need to go. So you know you are at the bottom, then you know you are going to the top. So that is why knowledge is very essential for you to have a purposeful direction. So now, here we have energy is the understanding virtue of the universe. Yes, I said that the other time. So now, basically, we have this diagram now. This is the bottom where many people, where they find themselves. So what you have here is, majority of what you have here is energy. If you by mistake spend that energy, like I said the other time, you will never get to this topmost region. That is why you need to make sure you sacrifice. You do things that will generate, you do things, you will work out things that you will do once that will generate money for you. A typical example of that is, for instance, you can write a book, you publish that book, then that book will generate money for you. People will be buying it, you'll be collecting royalties on the book forever. You understand? So you do it once, you get paid many times. So now, when we get back to this, then another thing that, don't forget that this phase is when you work many times and get paid once. That is when you are working, when you are being employed, you'll be collecting salary. You are being paid for the energy you spend. And so if you can just sacrifice and do things that will generate money for you, when you get to this space, when you get to this phase, don't make mistake of buying luxurious things. Make sure that whatever it is that you purchase will always yield returns, because that is when you can get, that is how you can get to this final stage. So you don't say, now I have money, then I just have to spend it anyhow. You don't spend money like that. So when you reach this phase, you have huge time to yourself, and at that stage, you are a billionaire already. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce you to one of my books online, and that book is this. I wrote this book, and I wrote it in form of poem. The reason I've written this book as a poem is for you to be able to decode the underlying meaning of what you are reading, because you need wisdom to acquire wealth. So being a poem will help you to develop your horizon in order to generate the needed wealth that you need. So then, the book is The Billionaire Decoder. In this book, I was able to show how billionaires employ people in order to get time to themselves, and how they inspire them to believe in their goals in order to get the wealth they need. So now let me give you the book overview. Here we have the book overview. The Billionaire Decoder is a collection of poems that depicts practicable steps on how to accumulate abundant wealth, with economic illustrations such as effect of profit maximization on marginal work hour. That is, if they know that the profit they need to get is far beyond the people they have employed, they will employ more people in order to increase the revenue. So now, how to spark new upward surge at maxima. Many businesses collapse when they reach the maxima. But when you reach that point, you will need to diversify in order to generate additional source of income. And that is why you see company becoming conglomerate, becoming giant. And so now we have wealth effect theory, wealth distribution model, and Pareto distribution, to mention but few. It is conveyed by poem etiquette to inspire in economic sure way to accumulate wealth. Thus comprises of poetry, inspiration, and economics. So now you see the book was published by Olusegun Shotede, October 2022, October 12, 2020 rather. Sorry. Then publication date, the same date. So this book, you can get it on Amazon. Make sure you have your own copy. It will guide you through how to make wealth. And so there is only one language that success understand. So I have one of my quotes illustrating that. So now let's go through this particular quote here. Perseverance mirrored through strategic planning is the only language understood by success. So you need to be persistent And it's not just to be persistent, you need to be strategic for you to be purposeful in what you intend to achieve. So that is that about this video. If it is quite informative, don't hesitate to smash the like button. I'm going to put link to this particular book, The Billionaire Decoder, in the description below, and I'm going to put link to all my books on Amazon in the description below. Then I'm going to put link to my research publication in the description below. Then make sure you subscribe to this channel so as to be notified for the subsequent upload. Thank you. God bless you.